These are the soccer players who came terrifyingly close to losing their lives. Cristiano Ronaldo had just bought his dream car when things took a sudden turn. On January 8, 2009, after Manchester United had a tough loss, the coach called for an early morning practice. Ronaldo, who overslept, woke up to a flood of missed calls and messages. He only had 20 minutes to get across the city and didn't want to let anyone down. So he grabbed the fastest car in his garage, not realizing that decision would be one of the scariest of his life. While racing to training, Ronaldo crashed the Ferrari. It was totaled. Just like that, his $200,000 Ferrari was gone. But somehow, he walked away without a scratch. From that moment on, he focused completely on football and made it his goal to become the greatest player ever. Next up is Lionel Messi. For him, chasing greatness almost came at the cost of his life. In 2017, Barcelona faced Juventus in a crucial Champions League match. Juventus had already won the first leg 3-0, so Barcelona needed something incredible to stay alive. And if anyone could make that happen, it was Messi. From kickoff, both teams fought hard, but no one could score during the first half. Messi kept pressing, trying to create a chance, and just before halftime, he made a quick run, dodged defenders, and took a shot. Right after, he was taken out mid-air by a sliding tackle, flipping and landing hard on the pitch. At first, it just looked like a bad fall. But doctors later said if he had landed just 2 millimeters higher on his neck, the injury could have killed him. Even though Barcelona lost the game, Messi was lucky to walk off that field alive. Moments like these remind us that behind the glory, these players are putting their bodies on the line, and even a legend like Messi isn't untouchable. The third player is Neymar Jr., who almost lost his life when he was only 4 months old. Back in 1992, his family was driving through the mountains during a visit when a violent storm suddenly hit. Rain poured down, fog covered the road, and visibility dropped to 0. Before they knew it, they were in a brutal car crash. The impact was so strong that it injured everyone in the car. But the worst part came right after. They couldn't find baby Neymar. His father panicked and started searching everywhere, inside the car, under the seats, in the bushes nearby, calling his name in fear. Minutes felt like hours until he finally heard faint crying. Neymar had been thrown under the driver's seat, bleeding from a cut on his small head. They rushed him to the hospital, praying he'd make it. At just 4 months old, Neymar had already faced death, and his survival felt like a miracle. From that day on, his father believed that Neymar was truly blessed and meant for something great. Looking back now at all his accomplishments, it's hard not to believe it too. Angel Di Maria's close call was different. It wasn't an accident, but a crime. In early 2021, while he was playing in a match for PSG, everything seemed normal at first. The game was intense, the crowd was focused, and nothing seemed out of the ordinary. But then, around the 62nd minute, something strange started happening. Phones on the bench began buzzing non-stop, and people on the sidelines looked worried. Suddenly, Di Maria was taken off the pitch without warning. Fans and players were confused, but behind the scenes, something serious was unfolding. His family was in danger. While he was playing, a group of criminals broke into his home, knowing he'd be at the stadium. Only his wife and young daughters were there. The robbers forced their way in, held them hostage, and searched the house for anything valuable. In the end, they got away with everything they could find, including a jewelry collection worth over $600,000. Thankfully, his family wasn't hurt, but the emotional damage was deep. His wife was shaken, and his daughters were scared. And the scariest part? This wasn't even the first time Di Maria's house had been targeted. After this, he knew things couldn't go back to normal. He hired full-time security and made it clear that his family's safety came before anything else, even football. No amount of success is worth it if the people you love aren't safe. Not every near-death moment happened on the field. For Matthias Silva, it happened during what was supposed to be a fun and relaxing break. Around the 4th of July in 2017, Silva and some of his teammates took a trip to Lake Tahoe. They arrived early in the morning, planning to enjoy the beach, swim a little, and relax before their next game. Silva was excited, maybe too excited, and when he saw the lake, he ran straight toward the water. Without thinking twice, He dove in. At first, it looked like a perfect summer moment until everything went wrong. A few seconds later, he started yelling for help. At first, his friends thought he was just messing around, but then he went under and didn't come back up. That's when panic set in. They rushed into the freezing water to pull him out. When they got to him, he wasn't breathing and his heart had stopped. A lifeguard jumped into action and performed CPR over and over, but nothing seemed to work. It was a nightmare. He was rushed to the hospital and placed in a coma. Everyone feared the worst. But 2 days later, something incredible happened. Silva woke up. Doctors said the icy cold water had shocked his system so badly that it caused his heart to stop. His teammates' quick thinking and the lifeguard's fast response saved his life. The whole team was shaken, but they stayed strong. In the very next match, one of his teammates wore Silva's jersey number and scored a goal in his honor. It was a powerful reminder that life can change in seconds and how important it is to be there for each other, both on and off the field. Lionel Messi and the Argentina national team had flown to Brazil for a high-stakes World Cup qualifier. They went in expecting that the worst-case scenario would be losing the match, but what followed was far more serious than a loss on the field. After a humiliating 3-0 defeat, the team was eager to get out of the country as quickly as possible. Instead of waiting for Messi's private jet, they boarded a last-minute flight with Bolivian airline La Mia. At first, everything felt routine. The takeoff was smooth, and the players were used to flying for international matches. But about 4 hours into the flight to Buenos Aires, the plane suddenly ran into trouble. It had gone over its fuel capacity by 20 minutes, and now the pilots had only 18 minutes to find a landing spot before the plane would run out of fuel completely. As the plane began shaking mid-air, panic set in. After a tense search, they finally found a place to land. With barely any time left, they brought the plane down safely. The moment they hit the ground, Messi and his teammates got off the aircraft as quickly as possible. Shaken, but still on a tight schedule, they were forced to board a different plane and continue their journey. What they didn't know was that switching planes may have saved their lives. Shortly after refueling, that same La Mia aircraft took off again, this time headed to a different destination, but it never made it. The plane crashed into a mountain, killing 75 of its passengers. That near miss was more than just luck. It was a moment that could have changed football history forever. If you love all these players and wish nothing but the best for them, make sure to like the video and subscribe.